So today I'm going to be diving into a topic very interesting, and fascinating to me personally, how data is transforming the music industry and how it is shaping the future of it. So whether you are a part of this data transfer and data evolution, if you have ever even just listened to a song or hit pause or play. So let's dive a little further into it. What is data in music? In the music industry, data can be anything from the number of times a song is played, skipped, or added to a playlist to more complex things like listener demographics, streaming times, and the emotional tone of listener comments. Platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube and TikTok are the ones collecting this data from their millions of users every day, and it is then compiled for record labels, producers, and artists to view and use. Okay. Let's talk about how this data is gathered. So streaming platforms are at the core of the data in music discussion. Every time a listener presses pause, play, skip, or even adjust the volume, that interaction is tracked through the multiple platforms. One great example is Spotify, that logs over 60,000 new tracks every day and uses machine learning to analyze patterns across millions of listeners they have to throw music at their consumers. So due to this, they're made aware of songs that are played this all the way through, which ones are skipped after the intro, and even which ones played again immediately. And all these behaviors go into behaviors like what genres are popular in certain cities and times of day, or how particular artist's new release performs in comparison to past songs. And they're all ultimately tracked and created into data, which is made into algorithms, which affects every consumer of music. So social media platforms like TikTok are also doing this through songs that are going through their videos and how their audiences receives that based on what content is being made and who is consuming it. So how does it affecting artists? For one, it's giving insight into audience preferences like never before. They can see which songs perform best, where the listeners are located, and even which lyrics and beats people respond the most to. And this also allows musicians to adapt in real time, create more targeted releases, and decide where to tour efficiently. So there are negatives to this. There's pressure on artists to conform to the data to get the most out of what they are creating. There's changing of structure of songs and altering chosen styles and genres of what the artists have already been based on what they could get more out of. This leads to the creative process being heavily altered by outside factors on a scale unseen before. We see people making TikTok anthems and hope to just gain fame and virality, and making songs just based on what their audience will like the most and not what they want to put out. This undeniably leads to the creative process becoming less about self-expression and more about optimizing for data metrics, further buying into the belief that data is slowly overtaking the music industry completely. So the impact on the business side. Record labels and music marketers are heavily now relying on analytics to guide decisions. So this is leading to no longer requiring to scout artists to verify talent. There is a direct ability to just see how good an artist is, what their crowd appeal is, and just how many people and listeners and streams they are bringing in a revenue way. So this is a huge shift in how labels are operating. So Lil Nas X's Old Town Road is a great example because it gained a record deal just due to TikTok popularity, and this led to it being the number one on the Billboard Hot 100 for a record-breaking 19 weeks. The data also helps planning release dates, campaigns, marketing campaigns, and tour locations. So all in all, the data given now predict which artists will trend next, allowing companies to invest early and get ahead of competitors. So perhaps the most surprising is the new changes in production. With new machine learning and AI analysis, producers can examine what type of melodies, tempos, and lyrics are performing the best for their consumers, and they are changing strategies and creating songs specifically based on these results. By using all of these, they can see a boost in streams and purchases of music put out by artists due to being able to appease audiences. But there's also, we're seeing an uptick in AI and AI creative tools like SoundDraw and Amper. They can compose instrumental tracks based on genre and mood preferences, and these compositions are all directly trained and based on data given and represented by thousands of songs. But it creates a problem of, are we just putting out music for optimization, or are we actually creating still good and soulful stuff? So the platforms use data to curate playlists, which are basically modern day radio, which is what is giving songs the ability to gain fame. There is a direct view that being featured in a major Spotify playlist has shown to result in an increase in streams by over 50% in a single day. So these playlists can really dictate whether a song makes it or breaks it in the industry. And the algorithms power personalized recommendations by suggesting new music based on multiple factors like songs previously heard, genres used, times of day, things are listened to, and they make things like day lists that are throwing new music at you based on what you've already liked. but they can create a negative feedback loop in which songs that songs will get more exposure, which boosts data metrics, which in turn increases exposure again, creating a loop that outputs songs that didn't get on that wave of the first algorithmic popularity. So major benefits, concerns, as set out throughout this, the listeners get more personalized experiences. Artists can better understand audiences and grow faster, and plan things smarter, and labels can invest smarter, and it reduces risks of labels hiring lackluster or poor talent. But there's also concerns that algorithm over artistry and creativity is a negative outcome, possibility of misfame due to these feedback loops, and a major control shift to consumers of who is deciding success, whether than actually being the artists or what they're being good at. So what the future can hold, we can expect to see more AI integration. There's already an influx of more analytics to predict music and success and consumer preferences, which it could all get up to the ultimate point of predicting what genres can be more popular in coming years. Virtual influencers and AI generated songs are already prevalent, and we imagine it will just get more and more as the technology gets better and more advanced. But there's also a push for balance. Artists and audiences are calling for authenticity, human creativity, and diversity in music due to this idea that AI music is soulless and not as emotional. And the future of music may be data informed, but it does not have to be data dominated. So my final thoughts, data is reshaping the music industry ground up. It affects song production, how songs are shared, how we as consumers experience music, and as consumers, we should try and maintain a level of awareness of how much control we have. So we as fans can choose to challenge the algorithms put in place, like the Spotify playlist, to see changes we hope for and seeing new music, genres that we more prefer over what other people are preferring, and how that's affecting what we are listening to. And this last one is my sources. Thank you.